Hey there, Angular folks, and welcome back. Angular 22 is experimenting with a new way to expose your app's real capabilities to AI. In this video, we're going to add a few custom WebMCP tools with a new API, connect them to Angular services and signals, and watch Gemini respond differently as our selected customer changes. All right, let's check it out. Here I have a simple customer account screen. Right now, Sarah Chen is selected, and we can see some basic account info. And here on the side, I have the WebMCP Model Context Tool Inspector. It lets us inspect the tools this page exposes, see their descriptions and schemas, and test them with Gemini. Right now, there are no tools exposed from this app yet. We haven't given the AI any app-specific capabilities to work with. Let's fix that. Here, we're looking at the user store service because this is the state our MCP tools are going to read from. I'm using the new service decorator here from Angular 22. You could still totally use injectable if you want. This part isn't required for WebMCP. I'm just using the newer API for this demo. Here, we have our list of users that drives the toggle buttons in the UI. This would normally come from an API or something, but it's just hard-coded for this example. Then we expose a few signals that will be important for the MCP tools we're about to create. Current user gives us the selected customer's visible profile information. Account gives us the deeper account signals for that same customer. And is high-risk account gives us the business rule that decides whether this account should be treated as high risk. And finally, this select user method is what the component calls when we click one of the user buttons. Okay, now that we know where the state lives, let's expose some of it through MCP tools. WebMCP tools are registered through Angular providers, so they need to be provided somewhere Angular can create them with the right injection context. For this demo, I'm registering them globally in the app config so the inspector can discover them reliably. Here, inside the providers array, I'm going to add the new provideWebMcpTools method. This is a new Angular API that registers WebMCP tools through Angular's provider system. The key idea is we're not just creating random JavaScript functions. These tools run inside Angular, so they can use dependency injection. The first property is name. This is the tool identifier. It should be short, specific, and action-oriented so the model can understand what capability this tool exposes. Here, I'm calling it Get Current User Summary because this tool is going to return a summary of whichever customer is currently selected. Next is the description. The model uses this description to decide when the tool is relevant, so vague descriptions are not helpful here. We want to describe the capability clearly. Next, we add the input schema. This describes what arguments the tool accepts. In this case, the tool doesn't need any input because the selected customer already lives in Angular state. So we use an object schema with no properties. In a real app, this could accept things like a customer ID, a date range, a filter, or whatever your tool needs. After this, we need to add an execute function. This is the actual function that runs when the AI calls the tool. This is where the WebMCP concept becomes useful because now the AI has a safe, explicit capability that we control. Inside this tool, I'll inject the user store and then read the current user signal. This is where it gets interesting. The AI is not scraping the DOM here. It's calling a tool that reads real Angular application state through dependency injection. Then we just need to return the tool response. The response has a content array, and this item is plain text. Here, let's just return a bunch of information about our current user like name, email, plan, status, last login, and open tickets. And that's it. That's our first tool. This one is intentionally simple. It proves the wiring, Gemini can ask the app for the current customer, and Angular can return the current signal state. Now, I'm going to fast forward and add 2 more tools, because watching me type 2 more objects is not why anyone clicked this video. Okay, if we scroll down, the next tool is where this gets more useful. This one analyzes retention risk for the selected customer. The description tells the AI that this tool analyzes the current account and explains retention risk. Again, no input schema properties are needed because the selected user is already in Angular state. This time we inject the store and read the computed signals. Current user gives us the customer profile. Account gives us the hidden account signals. And is high risk gives us the customer risk level. Simple, but real enough to prove the point. Then we return a different response depending on that calculation. Then below that, we have a tool for drafting a customer success note. It uses the same current user and the same risk calculation. But this time, instead of returning an analysis, it returns a different follow-up message. For a high-risk customer, the message is more proactive and offers help. For a healthy customer, it's more of a lightweight check-in. So now the same Angular state is powering multiple AI-callable capabilities. Okay, now let's switch over and check this out in the browser. Now we can see the toolbar actually has information for the custom tools we just registered. Now, for this demo, I'm using the WebMCP Model Context Tool Inspector extension from Google. This lets us inspect the tools a page exposes, see their descriptions and schemas, and test how a model can interact with them. It's experimental tooling, but it's perfect for showing what our Angular app is making available to the browser. So when we see these tools here, that means our Angular app is exposing explicit capabilities through WebMCP. Now, down here in the prompt section, Gemini has already filled in a prompt based on the available tools. That's the key difference. The model can see app-defined capabilities, not just rendered page text. Let's clear this and ask, can you summarize this customer account? Now, I'm not calling a function by name. I'm asking a normal question. And now we get a summary of Sarah's account. This maps to our Get Current User Summary tool. The important thing is that this data came from the Angular store, not from the model trying to read the UI and guess what matters. Now, let's reset this and ask, is this customer at risk? Now we get the at-risk response. And notice why. Sarah hasn't logged in for 19 days. She has 2 payment failures, and she has an unresolved priority ticket. Let's reset one more time and ask, draft a follow-up message for this customer. And now we get the high-risk follow-up message. This is more proactive because the account is at risk. Now let's switch to Marcus. Marcus has a healthy account, recent login, no payment failures, no unresolved priority tickets. This is the part that proves these are not just canned responses because we're going to ask the exact same questions again. This time, the answer changes. Marcus is not considered high risk because the underlying account signals are different. Now let's reset and draft a message again. Nice. This changes too. Instead of an urgent, let's help you resolve blockers message, we get a lighter check-in. So that's the real value of Angular's WebMCP tools. We're not just letting AI read the page. We're exposing specific, safe, app-defined capabilities backed by Angular services, signals, and business logic. And when the app state changes, the AI response changes too. Now, if you're working with modern Angular and want to go deeper, I have a new Angular Signal Forms course available. It covers form modeling, validation, dynamic state, submission, and custom controls with the new Signal Forms APIs. So check out the link in the description below. All right, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.